This episode of the Gamerheads Podcast is brought to you by Seven Bridges Premium Gourmet Yum Yum Sauce. Enhance every bite with our savory blends of flavors, perfect for meats, vegetables, and crispy treats. Whether you're dipping, drizzling, marinating, grilling, roasting, or snacking, Seven Bridges Yum Yum Sauce takes your culinary experience to the next level. Get yours today and make every meal a gourmet delight.
Hi, I'm Celia Schilling from Yacht Club Games.
Hey, this is James from Megacat Studios.
Hey folks, this is Matt, aka Stormageddon from Reignite and the Fun and Games podcast.
This is Stephanie from the Boss Rush podcast and the Boss Rush Network.
Hey, this is Mark and Keon from Bunte Avond.
Hey, this is Sebastian with the ProNerdReport.com and the Single Player Experience podcast.
Hi, this is Chris.
Mike.
And Garrett from Daylight Basement Studio.
Hey, this is Baron J67 from Level 1 Gaming.
Hi, I'm Jacob McCord from the Left Behind Game Club, Crossplay Conversations, and Video Game Trivia.
Hey, this is Todd Mitchell from Code Right Play.
Salutations, this is Mike Carroll from Stroll Art.
Hey, this is Jeff Moonen from Fun and Games Podcast.
What's good, y'all? This is Adam from Respawn Aimfire.
Hey, this is Patrick from the Backlog Odyssey.
Hey, this is Rune from Runic Codes.
Hi, this is Andrew from Spalato Bros.
Hi, everyone. Jill Grote here from the Indie Informer.
Hello, this is the Crypt Master, and you're listening to Roger You're listening to Roger on the Gamerheads Podcast.
And welcome to...
Wait,
who is this? Hold on.
What's
Mike,
going on here?
Who is this other voice talking?
What?
I don't know, but he's messing up our mojo.
I thought this was just you and I that did this show together. Who's this other guy that's talking?
Did you guys want to say it one last time?
No, who the hell are you?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
You guys want to say it one last time? I'm back.
I'm back. Our third guy is Retro Game Frankenstein, and you don't sound anything like him. Why? What the hell?
That was your replacement.
Oh, wow. Actually, he wasn't he?
Kind of.
Welcome back to another episode of the Gamerheads Podcast. My name is Roger.
Know what this is anymore. Who?
And I am back in the seat. I'm happy to be back.
You put in quite a few adventures while we were gone.
That's what I hear. I heard that I was looking for ghosts. I went to prison apparently for something.
Hot Air Balloon Festival.
The Hot Air Balloon Festival. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, I didn't know I did all that stuff. That's
you're a man of many talents.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to be back. Thank you both for running the show while I was out.
Running it into the ground.
It only made it 4 feet under. It can come back.
Yeah,
It's true. I mean, Halloween's kind of over, but we can come back from the dead. That's fine.
It's not Easter yet.
Yeah.
And then 3. Never mind. Okay. Yeah. So I'm back. I can see that you're both super excited about me being back.
Hey, Mike, you know what?
Sure.
This is going to be the easiest episode we've done in like 2 months.
Oh, yeah. I don't doubt that in the slightest.
This is going to be great.
I'm going to put my feet up.
Well, welcome everybody to the show.
I'm taking my pants off.
Oh, my God. Before we begin, I just wanted to say, first of all, thanks to all our listeners as well. Thanks to our patrons, Jill, Matt, and Sarah. And listeners, if you'd like to support the Gamerheads Podcast, you can as well by going out to our Patreon at gamerheadspodcast.com and wait, patreon.com/gamerheadspodcast. Oh my God.
Whoa, Rusty Roger.
Gamerheadspodcast.com.
Yeah, well, they can go to gamerheadspodcast.com and go there too.
No, you're saying, Phil, can you show them how to correctly say gamerheadspodcast.com, please?
Yeah, dude, you should have known this. If he was your protege, it's gamerheadspodcast.com.
I know. I know. So, anyway, you can go to patreon.com/gamerheads to support us there. I am really rusty. And then also, speaking of supporters, thank you also to our sponsor and Seven Bridges Yum Yum Sauce. Phil, I'm still waiting on my Yum Yum Sauce.
It's in the fridge upstairs, in all honesty.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good stuff. Is there any talks? Can I ask that question? Is there any talks of new sauces coming out?
We're trying to get rid of what we currently have before we move on to the next.
Okay.
There's a lot of sauce and it's hanging out. But we have made our way into Kowalski's, which is a local-ish grocery store around here, as well as a couple of Shield sporting goods stores. If you've ever heard of those, we've made our way into some of those. Not all of them, but a small handful.
Wow.
We just got in with Von Hansen's Meat Market pretty recently as well, which is there's 25 of them around the Minneapolis St. Paul area. So, I mean, like, things are starting to move. It's good.
Cool. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And the other thing I'm just going to plug here too before we get into the show is we are doing Extra Life this year. And our Extra Life will be on every Tuesday in the month of November, starting at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, going to about 10:30 p.m. Central Time. And we actually have quite a bit for incentives, prizes to give away to raise money for Extra Life. I got a lot of games, including games like Slay the Princess, Yars Rising, Toys Tactics, Ghost Runner 2. And then on the 26th of November, I have the big grand prize, if you will. And that is an NES with Tetris and Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt as well. So, yeah. So thank you to... I'd like to thank Stride PR, Uber Strategist PR, and Gaming Generations for providing all those game codes. And there's a bunch of other games too. I didn't list all the games. There's a lot of games, and I have quite a few codes of each game. So it's like, if you're gonna donate, you're probably gonna win. Like there's a good chance you're gonna win something. So that's every Tuesday, and that's at twitch.com/Gamerheads Podcast. So yeah, that's all exciting stuff that's going on.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah.
I have an icebreaker question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Theoretically,
yeah.
If I was to have a major surgery done and I was laid up for a couple of months, what games should I be playing during my downtime?
So I will say theoretically, if that were to happen, the first thing you should do is buy a Steam Deck. Like, that is the very first thing you should do. Because I did for no reason whatsoever. And I will say I wish I would have bought one earlier. Phil, I think I'm a convert to the Steam Deck.
Well, it's better than the cell phone that you currently were playing games on.
So I've been playing a lot of games. If you were to get a Steam Deck, you could play games like Dragon Age, the Veilguard on it.
You could also do that on the Xbox.
But that's true. But you can't do that in bed. Well, I guess you could if you have
you can.
Streaming.
I've got an Xbox in my bedroom.
Well, okay, yeah. I don't have a TV in my bedroom, so
what kind of a life do you
well
live?
I do have a TV.
An American?
Yeah.
I do have a TV. It's just not hooked up to any kind of system, so I should say that. So
gotcha.
But that is really fun. Slay Away Camp 2, you can play that on Steam Deck. You can play that. Let's see. There's a lot of games you can play on the Steam Deck, and there's a lot of sales going on the Steam Deck. I'm going to tell you, Steam Deck's amazing. I wish I would have bought one earlier, because there's a lot of games. There's a game I'm playing right now. I'll talk more about all the games I'm playing, but I'm playing Brutal Legends because I've been asked to talk about that on a podcast. And guess what? Can play that on the Steam Deck, even though I do own it for like PlayStation.
Is that the one with
3?
Jack Black on it?
Yeah.
It's also on Game Pass. Just throwing that one out there.
Oh, is it really? Well, yeah, but I can't. Again, I couldn't play that game on Game Pass in my bed. So,
doesn't Steam Deck? Did they say they incorporated Game Pass into it or no?
So you can there's a couple ways you can play Game Pass on your Steam Deck. You could either do it through What
I
just
hit the
happened?
wrong button and I burped, and now I feel like an asshole.
Oh, that's okay. You can play like there's different apps you can download, or you can stream it, like just like using it as like a streaming device, like your phone or something like that. So yeah, there's different ways you can play. And then there's ways that you can play like your Amazon games that you can get, right? And all your like all these like there's tons of games you can get through Epic and all these other things. Like those require you to like do a little bit of like you have to download this app and do this.
Yeah.
I haven't really delved into that yet, but there's lots. I mean, I have tons of games on Steam anyway. I think the one thing is that not every game is Steam Deck certified. So sometimes they work just fine, and sometimes you're like, oh, that game doesn't work at all because it really does require a mouse. Although even on the Steam Deck, it does have like 2 pads on it that you can move around and it works like a mouse pad kind of. So,
all right,
yeah, it's cool. I got on like it was good timing, like right when I got out of surgery.
Whoa! Nobody said you had surgery. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
This was all theoretical, Roger.
I mean,
hypothetically.
When
you were globetrotting, man.
When I possibly, I mean, if I were to get out of surgery, it was on sale right after. If I were to get out of surgery,
it would have been on sale.
It would have been on sale. That's true. It would have been on sale, and so then I bought. I mean, I bought it, but yeah. So anyway. Can I say one thing about the surgery though? Because I did have surgery.
You could you could say hypothetical things.
Hypothetical
about potential surgeries.
Okay. If I hypothetically had a hip replacement surgery, hypothetically speaking,
nobody even said hip replacement until you got here, man.
when I hypothetically get out of surgery, boy, I think I would think things are really funny. And I would probably laugh my head off. And I mean, hypothetically speaking, if that were to happen, but who knows? I mean, I guess if that happens, I would find it funny. But I did laugh. I couldn't help. I laughed so hard after. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the drugs or what, but something.
It was the
laugh.
drugs.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, I don't laugh when I'm on drugs.
Was all the drugs you had, and the anesthesia probably played something into it too.
I think so. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they did say hypothetically when they were giving my anesthesia, they said it's kind of like having a really good cocktail, and then they said at one point hypothetically they said, "Do you still feel your legs?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, well, give him another cocktail. At least that's how I remembered it. I don't know. Maybe that didn't happen that way. But, and then all of a sudden I don't remember anything after that. Like it was hypothetically speaking again. I didn't remember anything. It's a weird, I mean, if that were to happen, it's a weird procedure. Yeah, it's a trip. It's an hour long trip, but 2 months of healing. So that's that. So. But if I were to have my hip replaced, I can walk better now. If that were to happen.
Sounds like it hypothetically did what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, hypothetically speaking, it did what it was supposed to do.
Potentially.
So yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I would suggest anybody that's getting any kind of major surgery done, probably to go get a Steam Deck, because you'll be laid up for quite some time. And there's usually some really good sales on Steam. So, yeah.
All right.
That's. What about you guys?
That question.
What would you guys play if, hypothetically speaking, you both had to have major surgery?
Anything on the Xbox.
Mike?
I'm taking it a different direction. I'm thinking like one thing. If there's one game that I had to play.
Yeah.
During my downtime, it would have to be a game that I've never played before and a game that I could spend a month in. And I'm thinking probably Skyrim might be the one to do that for me.
Wait, have you never played Skyrim? You never played Skyrim?
No, I never played Skyrim.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
can
too
I tell you?
overwhelming. It's like too. It gets
100%.
micromanagey, and then it just starts to feel like work. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't like this.
I will say I started Skyrim like 5 times probably, and I have not finished any of them.
I was actually thinking I would get into like a DC Universe Online and build myself a superhero and play that if I had that much downtime.
That's a good
but with
idea.
Skyrim, I put 250 hours into Skyrim and did everything there was to be done in that damn game.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you love Skyrim. I knew that. Yeah, I made it. I wouldn't say made it far. I made it probably like 20 hours in on one run, and then what happens when you put those games down and then you go back to, you're like, what was I doing? What happened
I
here?
don't know
What's going on? So then I started over, and then same thing happened. I was like, oh, I'll come back to it, and then I come back to it. I'm like, what's going on in this game? What's happening? So unfortunately,
And that's why I play the show in Overwatch.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I played a lot of Star Wars Hunters. I unlocked the latest pass like way before the season ended.
Roger, we're not at that point yet. We're not talking about games we're playing.
Okay, sorry.
You're rusty as hell.
I am rusty.
That's
I know.
Give a little leeway.
He's
gonna get back into the swing of things.
It's been 2 months,
if I
man.
give him enough leeway, he's gonna hang himself.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So yeah. So that, I guess those are our answers to that hypothetical question around the icebreaker. So
allegedly.
I do have some news. Do you guys still do that? Do you guys talk about news on this show at all?
No, we stopped.
Oh,
yeah, it's a totally different format now.
we would have been done by now if it was just Mike and I.
Yeah, that's true.
I do have some news. This comes from game developer that Multiversus and Harry Potter deliver $100 million loss for Warner Brothers games. And what they're talking about is that Multiversus and Harry Potter Quidditch were both underperforming and added another $100 million loss to already a $200 million loss from February's Suicide Squad. And then the article goes on to say that then WB says that they're going to focus on 4 main properties going forward. Harry Potter, which is kind of funny. I mean, yes, Harry Potter Quidditch made them a lot of money, but I mean, Legacy, Hogwarts Legacy made a lot of money, but the Quidditch game didn't. So they focus on Harry Potter, Mortal Kombat, Game of Thrones, and then DC Comics.
Who wanted a Quidditch game is my question.
Well, I would want a good Quidditch game that you could play online and like be like Overwatch kind of, you know what I mean? Like
something like that would have to be one of those seasonal things.
Yeah, it'd be a seasonal thing. Not what they came out with. I think they thought, boy, people are gonna, because like obviously Hogwarts Legacy didn't have Quidditch in it, and I know a lot of people were upset about that. So they probably thought, well, this is an easy latch on, and I think if you had Hogwarts Legacy, you get like special robes or something like that, or something. I don't know what you got, but you got something special in the Quidditch game. But yeah, it didn't sell very well. So the Batman VR game came out on a MetaQuest 3, Mike. Have you played it?
Yep. Oh no, I wouldn't even. Like, I'd get too dizzy.
Yeah.
I don't like getting punched in first person.
But I heard that's really, 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 really good. And it's in the Arkham series. And apparently they're going to focus on that yet. That's where the DC games come into play. Game of Thrones kind of I was surprised by that. I didn't know that they had Game of Thrones property for.
I think there was only
gaming.
one Game of Thrones game that ever came out too.
Yeah, and I don't know why they're like, well, we're going to focus on that because like it's not like.
Yeah, that is kind of out of the.
Yeah.
Left field. Out of all the properties Warner Brothers could have chosen.
Yeah.
And that kind of aggravates me because once again, ignoring the Looney Tunes.
And Looney Tunes. There's a Looney Tunes sports game that just recently came out.
Yeah, but that's Game Mill.
Yeah, that was Game Mill. And it wasn't good, and I heard.
Yeah. But like,
did they halfway sideways announce a Hogwarts Legacy 2, or was that a weird fever dream that I had?
No, I think they did. I think they talked about like because it like exceeded expectations. I think it sold like 30 million copies or something, which is huge.
So I heard was that the sequel has been confirmed, and they're going to tie it into the new Harry Potter TV series that's coming out on HBO.
That's right. Yep.
That's what it was that I saw.
And it's Harry Potter series is just the remake of the movies, or the books rather, I guess, but as a TV series. And I don't know if I like that idea. I mean, that's one thing I liked about Hogwarts Legacy is just it was a standalone outside of the Harry Potter universe. And it was cool. Like, it didn't have anything. It was just like more exploring like a magical world. That was neat. I don't know if I like the idea of it's like, oh, now we're going to tie into the Harry Potter, storyline. Like,
yeah,
I don't
and that, you know what? I'm going to go on a rant now. Now you pissed me off. Jeez, you didn't. It just makes me so angry. Like, if you're going to explore the Harry Potter universe, don't tie into that story. That story's done. Same thing with stupid dumbass Star Wars.
Yeah, I saw they were talking about doing a 10 through 12.
They're doing another supposedly they're doing another trilogy, and supposedly it's continuing the whole Skywalker thing. Just put it to rest. Put the whole Skywalker and Darth Vader thing to rest. You could tell so many other stories.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the Harry Potter universe. Tell other stories in the Harry Potter universe. Or if you're going to include Harry Potter, at least do the I don't know, Harry Potter and the girl with the dragon tattoo or whatever that recent one that came, where he's older and he works at the Ministry of Magic or something.
Yeah, that was terrible though.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, just if you're gonna do it, don't do it when they're older, or don't use them at all.
Yeah, don't use them at all. Right? Like if you want to,
it's some variety.
I agree. And Mortal Kombat has what new DLC, right? Ghostface just came out recently.
Yep.
Or did it come out?
From the Wu-Tang Clan?
He doesn't. No. From Scream.
From Scream,
not the Ghostface killer.
Well, he is a killer, but yeah. No, that's not till. That's like I think that's like next week that he comes out.
Okay, it's next week.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're still working on that stuff. But the other thing that I thought was interesting about this was the Multiversus, because that game was just weird because it came out and then it was gone, and they're like, no, it's back. I mean, I guess it didn't really come out. It was like in early access or something like that, or in beta, I guess. But it was doing well in beta. Now it's like nobody's like playing it because it's like, we've seen it before.
It's kind of bland.
Yeah.
Well, it's also free to play as well, isn't it?
It's free to play, but it's and it's also very grindy, grindy. So
I mean, but they're coming out with like new characters. I just saw that they came out with Jason Voorhees was recently, right?
That was about 2 months ago.
Well,
but if you're talking recently, then we're talking.
That was when you had one good hit, one bad hit.
Yeah, exactly. Hypothetically.
I think Raven they just announced.
Raven, that's right. I did see that too. Yeah.
Oh, from That's So Raven. Gotcha. I got.
That's So Raven.
I was like,
no, from the Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah. I would actually really love to see like a triple pack of Raven. It would be That's So Raven, Raven the Crow. And then the actual Raven from Teen Titans. That'd be really fun.
Let's not forget the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah. Let's make it a 4-pack.
Just make it different skins.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
they all have the same power. They just sit in the corner and yell "Nevermore."
So yeah, I don't know. Mike, did you have other information on this stuff too?
That was the only information I had.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
just that they're focusing on Mortal Kombat, which makes me happy and makes me not happy at the same time, because Mortal Kombat used to be good until Warner Brothers got a hold of it and forced them to make microtransactions galore. I haven't used that term in a long time. Galore. Do people still use the word galore? Anyway, microtransactions like crazy.
Yeah,
and it's not fun as it used to be.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought was kind of interesting was that a director's cut of the first game of the Hogwarts Legacy is said to be in the works, with Rocksteady reportedly pitching in as co-development, which is kind of interesting. Avalanche Studios, which I totally forgot. Avalanche Software did the first game, and if I'm not mistaken, they did the Disney Infinity game as well. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. So that's the only news that I thought was of any interest to me. Anybody else have anything that you saw? Like anything that I missed? No. Okay.
Yeah, I got
Mike?
nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing. Yeah.
Should we move on to games we're playing?
Sure.
Do you guys want to go first? Because I have a long list.
Sure.
Okay. Mike, do you want to go first?
Sure. Played some more of Halloween on Retro Realms.
Oh, yeah.
Last week I kind of complained about the input lag, and I still agree that yes, it is inputty and laggy, but I'm getting better at it. I'm avoiding the downward strikes, which take a pretty big wind-up time. And I found I can kind of cheese my way through the levels if I speed run it, A, and B, if I do Michael Myers's dash attack where you just hold the button down, because he's invincible when he does the dash attack. So I'm just cheesing that the whole time. Dash attack, dash attack, dash attack, dash attack. So I'm doing that, and it's getting better. It's getting a little more enjoyable. I'm having fun with it. Again, the achievements are very creative, and some of them are easy. Like I got 49 points just by watching the credits for 30 seconds.
Wow.
So it's like that. So I still my hangups are still valid, but I'm warming up to it a little bit more.
Did you get both games, or did you just get?
I got the physical, so it comes with both.
Oh, it did come with both. Okay.
Yeah.
Does the physical? Because like, aren't they going to be coming out with more games underneath that retro arcade? Like
they've said they've wanted to, but nothing's been announced.
Okay. So, but if you buy the physical, then what? Does the rest of it DLC, or do you get, or how does, or no?
I'm assuming they're either going to offer it as DLC or offer it as a separate package. I mean, because that's the only options they got.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just yeah, I agreed, but I mean, it's just interesting because like they package it as like, oh, you get this arcade, like it's kind of like that Capcom arcade stuff, right? Like the Capcom at cabinet stuff that they did. And it's like you can get that one app, but then you can play a bunch of games, but you have to buy the game separately. And I just think that's an interesting thing is when you buy the physical thing, it's like, okay, I have the physical, but it's just these two games. But then I would have to buy the physical game for anything else that comes out separate. Like, I don't know. It's just interesting. Sorry.
Well, when you go into the arcade in it, there's 6 arcade cabinets and 4 of them are covered.
Oh, really?
So
and you can download the arcade portion for free as well, even on the Xbox.
But
so you could just walk around the arcade and just look at the videos or something.
I haven't booted it up yet, but it's there because
I'd be curious to see, like, if you don't buy the games, like, what do you do?
I'll check it out and let you know next week.
Yeah,
you just walk around an empty arcade, which is actually pretty appropriate, probably.
It's like going to the mall.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's like going to Aladdin's castle.
You know what's interesting is that when you brought that up, that just made me reminisce about something. Well, you're talking about empty malls and stuff. Have either of you ever played Dead Rising, the first one from beginning to end?
Yeah,
beginning to end.
Yes.
Not no.
Okay. That's I got to make sure because you got to play through that game a few times to get the true ending. Mm-hmm. And there was always something I found so fascinating about that game, and it's on your way to get the true ending. And spoiler alert for a 25-year or 15-year-old game. What is it? 7,
it's got to be almost 20.
Yeah, I think it's almost 20.
Yeah, it's getting old. 20. There's a point in the game towards the end, and you only get this again by going through the true ending, where you go through the mall and it is completely empty.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are no zombies whatsoever. and there's something so creepy, but at the same time calming about it, because you've spent probably 10 to 15 hours in total chaos running through all these zombie hordes, but then now to be able to like slow down and take your time as you're going through it, it's a really, really cool. I don't know if you felt that same way, Phil, but when I went into the mall and it was emptied and there was no zombies running around and everything like that, I'm like this is a weird feeling. It almost felt like being in like, an abandoned mall.
It's very similar to going to the grocery store a little stoned at 3:00 in the morning, where all you hear is like the shitty 80s and 90s music played in the background on the overhead, and you're the only person walking around the entire place. Yeah, I know exactly what it's like.
How bizarre!
How bizarre! How bizarre!
Exactly. Just like, yep, refried beans, rice-a-roni.
Am I wrong to think that Santa Claus is in that game? Isn't there a zombie Santa?
He was in one of them. He was one of the bosses. Was a Santa Claus looking dude. I don't remember which one of the 3 or 4 that it was though.
Okay. I think, and I never beat it, but I actually really liked that game a lot.
And the physical edition
hard.
of it's hard at first.
Yeah. Once you get souped up, it's a different story. But
you have difficult. You got to get game over probably a good 3-4 times before.
Mm-hmm. And it's a battle against time more than anything else. Too.
Yeah, that's the time stressful about it.
Yeah. I thought it was a cool game though. I mean, I think the clever part was you could use all the different things in the mall, like shopping carts and fun things that you can use.
The remaster just came out too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
When it goes on sale, I'm grabbing it.
Yeah, it will. It's Capcom.
Yep.
Anything else?
Oh, what I've been playing? Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
I started up the next season of Fortnite, which I am very excited about because it's a throwback season, and they brought back my favorite island, which was the island from season 2. So I get to see all my favorite. That's when I started getting into Fortnite. That's how old this island is. When I just started getting into it, and so that's like I don't know, like what are those? Caddy Corner and the rig, or not the rig. Wait, is it the rig? Yeah, I think the rig is in there. Agency, which is so like a whole bunch of stuff that I'm like that made me like reminisce. I'm like, oh, I remember when I first used to play this. It was a lot of fun. So it holds a special place because that's when the boy finally got me into playing Fortnite, and he and I over Christmas break were just played it nonstop, and that's how I really got into the game. So it sucks that it's a short season. It only lasts like a month.
Oh.
So. Yeah, so that's it. Those are the only games that I've played. I've been busy, very, very busy.
Can I just do a shout out here, quick? Your son did a really great job announcing football games. That was fun to watch.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
He did really. And I'm gonna tell you. I think that's really hard to do because, like, especially high school games.
Oh, geez, 3 hours by yourself calling play-by-play in football.
And that one game, did it go into like double overtime, sudden death?
Went into some kind of overtime, double secret probation. Yeah.
I mean, I was just like, oh my gosh, and then they lost. Oh, that was so heartbreaking. That was so heartbreaking to watch that.
Yeah, you could tell he was so bummed out.
Yeah, he was. But he did a really great job doing that. So.
Cool. Thank you.
Let him know. So yeah, I don't know if you let him listen to this show or not because
why? Why, Roger? Why? What is your reason for why he shouldn't be able to listen to this show?
Because it's so good that it might just
ruin him for all other.
He can't listen to any other podcast because it'd be like nothing else compares to the Gamerheads podcast.
Dozens of listeners.
That's right. But yeah, let him know that he did a fantastic job.
Agreed.
Thank you. Will do.
What about you, Phil? What have you been playing?
Well, listeners, sit back, crack open a cold one because I got some stories to tell.
Oh wow, I like stories.
I have been playing some House of Golf 2.
Okay.
What is House of Golf 2, you might ask?
Yeah, what is House of Golf 1? I never even heard the first game.
Don't know. Never played the first one, but I bought the second one because it was on sale. It is a miniature golf game with, they claim, 400 courses. Don't know how accurate that is, but they are all based around, so far from what I've seen, objects that are all around the house and courses that are all set up around the house. There are hidden balls or hidden icons that you can collect to unlock different secret balls and stuff like that. It's not great. It's not bad. It's better than Golf with Friends, because Golf with Friends sucked.
I was gonna say that's not a very high bar, though.
No, it's not. But it's a game that I plan on putting more time into. I don't think there is online multiplayer in it, which is the one facet of it that sucks. Controls are pretty rudimentary. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a miniature golf game. You play from like directly behind the ball, though, like, so you're not seeing your own character or whatever. Like, you're controlling just the ball itself and bouncing that off of everything. Not terrible. It's currently on sale. I think it's 50% off. It's like $10 or $15, something like that. And I said, what the hell? I like mini golf. I like golf games. I'll check it out. I'll give it a go. It's all right. Outside of that, I'm playing a game that Mike has recommended probably a couple of years ago that also went on sale pretty recently for, I believe, the low price of $6. And I'm currently working my way through I'm going to call it an early 2000s style retro platformer collectathon called Pumpkin Jack.
Oh, yeah, that game's great.
Pumpkin Jack is fantastic. The controls are pretty spot on. You're playing as a pumpkin that has been brought back. Nope, you're playing as a guy named Jack that was brought back inside of a pumpkin head to go defeat an evil wizard, if I remember correctly. I'm like 4 or 5 levels deep into this, and story, I don't really pay attention to it. It's just kind of there. And you have a crow companion that you can use to go and kill creatures, ghosts, zombies, all that kind of stuff.
That's
with.
right.
To work your way up to fight this magical wizard that has made the world too happy. So you're there to take it all down. One of my favorite parts about this game, and I know I say it a lot, is the soundtrack. It's just a very haunting, spooky type of a soundtrack that just really hits all the right vibes of what you would expect a game like Pumpkin Jack to have for a soundtrack. Controls are absolutely spot on. The level design is pretty creative. You also can play as just your head sometimes to go and unlock puzzles and open up doorways and things like that. I've also reached a points where you're chasing a horse or you're riding on a horse to hurdle over obstacles and fight your way through there to battle a witch and her husband, I believe is what it is. But yeah, if you like that early 2000s style platformer action adventure type of game, like Ratchet and Clank, Sly Cooper, any of those types of things, this game is definitely well worth putting your eyes on and putting some time into. And with it just having been October/Halloween season, I thought it was the absolute perfect time to jump into this game, and it doesn't suck.
Yeah. And you can usually find it pretty cheap too. I think I usually see it around like the $5 or $6 mark on sale.
Yeah, I think I got it for $6 on the Xbox.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it goes on sale pretty regularly too. So.
Oh yeah. And they just released a physical edition on limited run games, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think you're right.
Wait, do we like limited run games or do we hate them?
You wait a long time for those games, right? Don't you?
Yeah, you do wait a long time for those.
But eventually you get them. Eventually it ends up at your house. I don't know. Or you can go to conventions and buy games straight from them, and then you don't have to.
That's true.
Worry about ordering stuff. But
Phil, there was, going back to golf real quick, I saw there was a video that came up in my feed of this guy streaming a golf game. Now it was a first-person golf game. So, and he's golfing at night. And when he's golfing, I guess this is not just a golf game, it's also a survival horror game. So
no shit. This sounds awesome.
He goes to take a swing and turns and looks, and in the trees there's this creepy dude just standing there smiling at him. And so every time he turns around and puts the golf ball down and takes a swing, the guy gets a little bit closer, every time you look away. So you got to keep looking at him and run towards the ball and hit it again. And so it looked pretty funny.
Wow, that sounds fun.
I didn't know the name of it, but I can look it up. I'll see what I can find.
That's what they should have done with that Mario golf game that they came out with. What, Mad Rush or something like that? Superstar Rush or something?
Oh yeah.
Where it would be like hordes of zombies coming after him or something like that. Not that that's Mario, but that would be fun. That would be fun. I will say that's my biggest disappointment game ever because I was really looking forward to that game, that golf game, the Mario Golf game. Because Mario Golf is pretty good, like the original Mario Golf, and then the one on the 3DS is very good, but that one on the Switch was not very good.
Whoa! You watch your mouth. Everything on the Switch is great. Also, Mike, please tell me it's called Surviving the Golf.
I have no idea. I don't know the name.
Damn it. It's fine.
Do you have other games, Phil?
Yeah, there's this little game that involves 18 people in the field at the same time, and one person's throwing a ball and the other person's trying to hit the ball. It's called MLB The Show. I played a lot of that. There's also this other game where you've got 2 teams of 5 that are trying to take over objectives, and everybody's kind of got these different powers and different abilities, and you have to work together as a team, otherwise you're royally screwed. And there's 3 different roles that you can play as. One is a tank, one is a DPS, one's a healer / support. It's called Overwatch. It might catch on at some point. I don't know. It's a small little indie game.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, look at Concord.
Concord? The airplane?
No, the game.
What the hell are you talking about, man?
What? The game that was coming out on PlayStation was PlayStation. It was in the works for like 7 years, and it was like an Overwatch type game where it was like a player versus player, I don't know, squad of 5, and it came out. I think it came out maybe right before. In less than a week, yeah, it came out.
Basically, it was an Overwatch. It was an Overwatch ripoff that they were charging $30 for. Nobody played it, so they canned it, and it cost Sony at least $200 million.
Yeah,
I remember all that now.
But then they didn't bring it. And then when I was out, hypothetically for a hip replacement surgery, they closed down the studio. It was crazy. It was a crazy. There was a crazy. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. I think if that game came out when Overwatch first released, I think that game would have done fine.
Or Paladins.
Or as
I like to call it Overwatch 64.
Or as my nephew calls
City.
it. Oh, Knockout. Oh, don't mention Knockout City. That breaks my heart. That game was so good. Knockout City was.
If it was good, it'd still be here.
No, it would. It should still be here. My nephew calls Paladins. Well, the first time I ever heard of Paladins was from my nephew, and he said, "No, he's from Poland." Okay, so he said, "You ever hear this game called Paladins?" And I was like, "What? What game? I mean, Paladins? Yeah, I heard of that game." Yeah, that game still exists though, right? People still play that game, don't they?
I'm gonna say yes.
I think
with no facts.
When you say people, that means at least 2. So
at least 2.
So
one
yes,
on each
people do play that.
Yeah, one on each team. Okay, so here's my games, and I'm not going to list everything because I'm just not. But so some of the games I'm playing, I mentioned Brutal Legends, so I'm going to be talking about that game on a podcast coming up here in a couple weeks. This is my first time playing it, even though I had it. I think it was on like PlayStation, like Plus. I think it was one of the games you could get on like PlayStation 3 or something like that at one point. But I never played it, so I'm playing it now. Have either of you played that? It's the Jack Black game.
I beat it. Yeah,
you beat it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's okay. It's okay.
There's some RTS in there too, right?
Yeah, there are
like
some,
if
I remember correctly.
Because the headbangers, you send those out. Yeah.
Back when it first came out, it was a pretty rad game. It was also brought to us by
Schaefer.
Schaefer from Double Fine.
Double Fine. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's funny because I must have, because I was looking at like what, because I don't remember this game. I mean, I kind of remember the game when it first released, but I don't remember what the reviews were when it first came out. So I was looking it up, and then all of a sudden my Google feed's like, oh, Schaefer's talking about doing possibly going back into that world of Brutal Legends 2, doing a Brutal Legends 2, maybe possibly. And I was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I haven't finished it yet, but it's okay. It just, I don't know. I think when it released, I wish I'd have played it when it released. I guess that's what I'm just saying. So
it was good back then.
It was good back then. Yeah. A good game that I am playing that I'm super excited about, and I'm reviewing it, is Slayway Camp 2 by Blue Wizard. They did obviously Slayway Camp 1, and then they did the Friday the 13th Killer Puzzle, and now they came out with, unfortunately lost the license to that, and now they're coming out with, or they just came out with Slayway Camp 2, and then this one is really pretty funny. So do you remember you guys both played the first one, right? Slayway Camp?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if I played Slayway Camp, but I know I played the Friday the 13th version.
Okay.
Yeah, I played one of the two as well. Don't remember which version. I think I played the Friday the 13th version.
So in Slayway Camp, it was all the different levels were movies, and it was like at a movie rental place. It was all these old cassettes. So like you'd pick the different cassettes, and there was like the different worlds. In Slayway Camp 2, it starts off with this kid saying, and this is in the trailer, so it's not spoiler or anything, but he says, hey guys, do you guys want to bring Skullface back? And they're like, I don't know if that's a great idea, let's summon him. And then he starts saying this scary poem, and Skullface comes and he starts killing all the kids. And then the kid said, well, if he comes here, we can just read the poem backwards and then he'll be trapped. And he starts reading the poem backwards, and Skullface cracks his neck, and he's laying there dying, but he finishes the poem, and Skullface gets trapped in his phone. He's like, because the kid was reading it from his phone. And now he's in this thing called Terror Tube, which is supposed to be like YouTube, but all terror movies. And it's rows of movies, of different movies, like you would see on like YouTube or Netflix. And I think it's actually on Netflix. I think Netflix did put this game on there, although apparently that's not longer a thing anymore. I don't think Netflix is doing games anymore either. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I think they stopped that.
But it's cool. And so in the first one, and also the Friday the 13th, it was more like voxel artwork. This one is more like cartoony. It still has that same kind of boxy look to it, but it's more cartoony. And in this one, there's different character types that you can play now. So there's monsters, there's ghosts, there's sorcerers. So not just slashers, not just the Skullface and all the characters in the Skullface slasher types. And then, of course, then having the different puzzles will require you to do different things, like as a monster. Is it a monster? Yeah, I think it's monsters. Like you have the ability to scare and terrorize people, and they get frozen in place. Well, sometimes you have to do that so that way they don't run away, so you can, do your killing and do all the things you need to do. Unlike the other game, though, it's not slidey. So in the the first Slayway Camp, like Skullface would slide. Like when you move him, he'd go all the way across, right? And he'd go down and up and across and stuff.
Until he hits a whatever.
Until he hits something. In this one, you move around. Now the camp characters or all the other characters that you're slaying do slide. They do run away from you, and they'll run until they hit something. But the Skullface character doesn't slide anywhere. He can move one space at a time, which is neat. The one thing that I wish that they would have done, I mean, I get that they didn't because they have the different characters now. But do you remember? Maybe it wasn't the Jason one too. Maybe, I don't know. But you could have different weapons to kill the camp kids with like plungers or toilet brush. They didn't do that in this one. They have a machete that you can find in the game, and that gives you like a star, and then you need so many stars to unlock the next row of movies, right? But they don't have all the different weapons, which is I mean, I understand why, because a lot of those characters, it doesn't make sense because they're not slasher characters, so it wouldn't make sense for them to have all these different weapons. But that was one of my favorite things in that first game, was the fact that you had all these different plungers, and I don't remember all the like baseball bat, obviously.
Were always funny.
Yeah. There's so like, and this one they're still they're very cartoony, and they're still like there's a lot of blood. And you can turn that all off if you're like, oh, I don't want to play with that. But I mean, like, it's cartoony stuff. It's just but they did a fantastic. I mean, the presentation in this is fantastic, and the callbacks to like 80 classics. There was like one, I forget what it's called, but it was Harry and the Hendersons, and you play as a Sasquatch. And each movie has a subtitle of like a Sasquatch that moves to the suburban area, finds out that nobody really likes him, and he goes on a killing spree. Like it's just funny stuff like that I love that they tied into the like those 80. And there's a Teen Wolf one where you're a werewolf, and it was like a teen turns into a werewolf and tries to join the sports team, but is never welcomed, and then goes on a killing spree. Like it's always that kind of stuff. Like it's just funny. So that's Slayway Camp 2. I'm sorry, I have lots of games, and I'm going to try to go through these a little quickly. I'm playing the Plucky Squire as well. Nice. Playing that to talk about that on a podcast. This is one of the games that I was really, really, really looking forward to in the beginning of the year, because it just looks so cool. Because this is a game that you jump in and out of a storybook, and it just seemed really cool. I will say this. The storybook parts are really cool. The jumping out of the storybook parts are just like, I don't need this. This is kind of boring. And it's not just on the Switch, Phil, but it has some performance issues across the board.
Boo!
Too many things happening at the screen, and if I'm one to say, performance issues. It's a problem.
You're pretty forgiving.
I am pretty forgiving when it comes to that, because I grew up playing Atari games, and like, okay, well, yeah, that's gonna happen. But boy, you're in the middle of a combat and there's all the stuff going on, and your character's just jumping and lagging. It's not great. So, I'll just mention a couple other games. I'm also playing Mirthwood. So this game is absolutely fantastic. I could spend a whole hour talking about this game, and I probably will at some point. So this game is an RPG game where you can make your character, and the character creation is pretty deep. You can have different backgrounds, like you can be a noble person, you can be a peasant, you can be a bunch of other different backgrounds, and then there's different careers that you can have. So I picked actor, which is pretty funny, and it's like Stardew Valley meets the Last Look on the Sky is like Skyrim, like, because, and it's all top down, it's all hand drawn, but this game is so huge. There's so many weird things that can happen, and just random events and just weird stuff that happens in this game. It's so amazing. I played this at PAX West last year, and I loved it so much, and now I'm playing it for the review, and I'll just tell you like a little bit about this game. One of the weird adventures that just happened. So the story is, and this isn't spoiler, but you're like in this town, and you're I think your father's the mayor of this town. It's a medieval game, and they're getting attacked by these raiders, and your family's like, you got to get out of here. You got to get on the boat. We'll meet you at this other land. You have to leave right now. Get out of here. So then you leave, and you have nothing. And some stranger gives you this land with this house, and it's like, you can do whatever you want with this land in this house. You can fix it up. It's yours. And then you start going to town, you realize there's a bunch of quests, and there's some other weird stuff happening in this new land that you went to, and you start uncovering all these secrets. But then there'll be dungeons, and you go down in the dungeons, and you go fight in these dungeons and sent to do different things. And it's very like medieval. It's really cool. It's so good. But so this is a funny story. So I was just exploring, because I was like, oh, let's go this way. And then I found this little camp, and there's a thief in there, and he started chasing me, and there's no way I was going to take him on, because I was like really underpowered. And I was like, I'm out of here. And I ran away. And then the next day I was like, well, I'm going to go back over there and see if I can sneak around. And as I got there, just some random guardsman was walking through the woods and started attacking attacking the thief. And I was like, well, I'm jumping in on this. So we both killed the thief, and then I looted the thief, and it was so cool. I was just like, that just randomly happened, that they just happened to be in the same place. You can romance anybody in the game. Each character has
Could you
either
have romanced the thief?
well, no, that I couldn't.
You
I couldn't
said anybody.
Okay, I take that back. You can romance anybody that's
The guard?
Yes, you could romance the guard.
The guard that killed the thief,
Yeah,
you can romance him?
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm really enjoying the game because there's just so much, and there's a morality thing too. So I mean, you can do good things, you can do bad things. You can I accidentally stole something, and then they're like, "Oh, your morality went down." I was like, "No, I was just looking. I didn't mean to steal."
That's what you always say.
Yeah, that's what I always. That's how it's gotten me out of trouble in the past.
I accidentally stole something from Target once, and I got banned for life.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I accidentally stole something from Walmart, but I don't think they cared.
Oh, I accidentally stole like $10,000 worth of shit from Walmart when I worked there, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's Mirthwood. Another game that's RPG is Dragon Age, the Veilguard. The game is so good. Oh my god, that game is so good.
Did you play through the first 3 or 4?
I played the first one. I did not play Inquisition. I wish I would have. I didn't play the second one either. But I'm really enjoying this one a lot. It's really good. So yeah, there are callbacks to other characters. I did find out that apparently I have a thing for redhead dwarves that are possessed by ancient magic. I guess that's the thing that I have a thing for.
Like you or your character? You gotta discern, Roger.
I think both. Because you can romance.
We all got kinks. We're not here to kink shame.
Yeah. Because you can romance anybody in that game too. So
can you romance the thief from the other game?
Sounds like with your 8 weeks off, you spent a lot of time romancing things. Roger.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's going. I don't know what's. I don't know.
That's weird. Get out here. Is there more stuff that's going on here you want to talk about?
Yeah, I don't
also
know
played Leisure Suit Larry, but that's besides.
Yeah. And then the last game I'll talk about is I'm really enjoying this game a lot, and it's kind of fun because my son is playing it too. Pokemon.
Leisure Suit Larry?
No, God, no. Pokemon TCG Pocket.
Oh yeah, the card collecting game for the phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fun, and now you can battle, and they have a badge. Their first badge, if you get 45 wins, you get a badge within a certain amount of time. They're like between now and like the 28th or something like that. So I was just like, hey, Oliver, you want to take me on 45 times?
Yeah.
Damn, dude, that's just straight up bullying.
No, I did not do that to him. No, but he's really liking it. I mean, he's gotten really into Pokemon cards. In fact, this past weekend we went to a card shop and he bought a bunch of cards. They were like 10 cents a piece, and he was like, "Whoa, Dad, they have this card. They have this card." I'm like, "Yeah, they're 10 cents. Just pick a bunch of cards that you want. I don't care." But now he's got this, and he's super like. The other day he pulled he got what's the Charmander big
Charizard.
Yeah, he got Charizard, and he was so excited. And it's all sparkly too. It's the EX version of it, so he was like all excited, and he was just so happy, and that's cool. I mean, I'm glad that he's happy with that. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, apparently within its first week, it made more money than Pokemon Go, which is crazy.
Which would make sense because it's the card game, and that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, and I haven't spent a dime on this game yet, so I don't know how it made all that money. I mean, I guess you can buy a bunch of packs. You can, but you get like a pack every 24 hours. You can unlock a new pack, so it's not like
but sometimes one pack just isn't enough.
I know. So yeah, those are the games that I've been playing. Actually, can I just mention one other game? You can actually go to our website. It should be posted by the time you hear this episode, gamerheadspodcast.com. And you can read my...
You didn't say it right.
gamerheadspodcast.com.
There you go. That's better.
And it has... so it's a preview. It's a mobile game. So I will
it's a
say
Switch
this.
game.
It's a GPS game, but it's a card deck builder / RPG GPS game. And it's called World Seekers. And so the idea is that they want you to get out and walk around and take on there's different zones. And if you walk around, you go into different zones and there's different enemies and stuff like that. And I'm going to preface this because I know it's like in early, I don't want to say access because they're not really calling it early access, but it's like they're calling it like a demo, but it is not polished at all. Like they starts off by saying, please forgive us for our art, but none of the art matches at all. There'll be like an art of like a cartoonish drawing of like an enemy. Your character that you're playing is an emoji, just an emoji face. And it just that's bleh. I don't know. And then some of the characters are painted, so it's like looks like an oil painting. And then the next time it's pixelated. That's just weird, and the balancing is all off. Like, so like I live like 15 minutes out of town, so I went to go pick up my wife, and I went into town to get her from work. And I was like, well, since I'm waiting, I might as well just play this game. And like everyone around me, like all the enemies around me were way too high level. Like they were like 10 levels ahead of me. I was like, well, I can't even play this game. Like, this is weird. And, you know, the one thing that I will say with GPS games is, you know, like Pokemon Go, for instance. One of the things that people really like about the game is that it tied into like landmarks of the area around you. And like, those are Pokestops. And I know like that's easy. And I don't want to say easy, but I mean like they're special, but they're not like so uniquely special, but it made it unique, right? Like, oh, look at like this fountain is a Pokestop. Cool. There's nothing like that in this game. It's just a bunch of streets. And it's like, well, why even make this a GPS game? Because there's nothing unique. Like, there's no unique dungeons. There's no unique characters or story or anything that's happening in my area. And I know that's asking a lot, but if you're going to make a GPS game and people are going to, whether you like it or not, are going to compare it to games like Pokemon Go, you got to have something like that. Otherwise, what's the point of even making a GPS game? So, you can read more of my thoughts on the game at gamerheadspodcast.com.
Now you got it.
There you go. See, you just had to shake that rust off a little bit.
That's right. So I think that's all I have. I think that's the end of the show. Before we go, I guess we can tell people how they can find us on social media. Mike, how can people find you on social media?
If you want to find me, I don't know why you would, but you can go on, find me at Pez Guy Mike.
And Phil, how can people find you?
Mike, I would follow you anywhere, but you can find me on Twitter at Bino23. Bino23.
Bino23.com.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know where that .com's coming from. Yeah, I do, but that's not here or there.
So Gamerheads is no longer on Twitter. I'll say that. I deactivated the account. You can go to Blue Sky, though, and go to gamerheadspodcast.com on Blue Sky. It's kind of cool. He actually has a domain name tied to it. Twitter just became too toxic. And I didn't see anything about games anymore. It just became just a lot of weird shit. And I was done with it. So, yeah, I mean, follow us on Blue Sky or go to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/gamerheads. Or you can go to our website at gamerheadspodcast.com. Oh, and also follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/gamerheadspodcast, because I'll be streaming more often now that I'm back, and we're doing our Extra Life event, so you want to check that out. But then every Tuesdays between 8:30 and 10:30, I'll be streaming on a regular basis. So check that out. Yeah. Okay. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us this week.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
And Phil, thank you so much for joining us.
Always.
And listeners, thank you so much for giving us a listen. If you like what you hear, We'd love to have your support. Support us at patreon.com/gamerheads and leave us a review while you're at it as well. We'd love to hear what you have to say about the show. Until next week, everyone, stay safe and game on. Bye.
So long.
Take care.